Welcome to Poly Table Talk, real love, real talk. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you for joining us. We are the Polyamorous, the few that love the many. On Poly Table Talk, we cover topics related to poly-based relationships from the Black community perspective. We talk about what polyamory is, what polyamory isn't, offering a wide range of unique and diverse opinions. Poly Table Talk is based on the concept of Kitchen Table Polyamory. Kitchen Table Polyamory is the idea that everyone connected in the polyamorous relationship can come to the table and talk about it openly. No secrets, no lies. We promote ethical non-monogamy, open and authentic communication. It's time to grow up if we want to bring out them toys. If we want to build community, invest in each other, and create long-lasting and loving relationships where everybody wins. Be sure to visit the website polytabletalk.com. Search our handle at polytabletalk on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. All right, we have a very special episode for you. We hope you enjoy the podcast. Jay, this is my co-host,
Kay.
Hey, and today we're going to be talking about the dream versus the reality of being polyamorous. And I think sometimes we come into this with these expectations, maybe some assumptions, and then that bubble gets popped at some point when things get real. And so this is the episode where we talk about dreams of polyamory versus expectations.
Yeah.
Or versus reality. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start off with some of the dreams that you had of polyamory? I know they were lavish and...
I mean, I expected it to be difficult, but I think I expected it to be easier. I guess, like finding partners, or I expected it to be easier. I didn't expect dating to be so difficult, for one.
Yeah, I guess going in, I thought dating, whether it was together or individually, I thought that would have its challenges, but I think just finding people on the same page sometimes is a bit challenging. I didn't realize how maybe new to the world polyamory was in terms of like it being mainstream and people being ready to accept it. I think a lot of people are curious, but it's definitely been a challenge in just getting someone that is on the same page as you. And I think a lot of people say they're open-minded, but really they're just kind of nosy. They're borderline just want to kind of know what you do, and then they don't always know how to ask how they fit in, or that they had to be like this puzzle piece that fits in when you want to incorporate everyone's life into the relationship. But that's, I guess, if we're talking about trying to be a throuple or something along those lines. Typically we date separate, but yeah.
I really wanted us to like date a couple. I think that was kind of an expectation that I had, that we would be able to like date a couple and do like double dates and like have like a more of like a social aspect to what we're doing. And it's kind of lonely.
I think that one is I know we talked about like doing the quad for a long time. The quad was something that was a quad goal. We had the goal of being a quad and exploring the idea of meeting someone else who were in the same position as us, kind of already had a family going, and we would just kind of merge.
Yeah.
But it's been a whole lot of just meeting single people, and then I'll date a single person, you'll date a single person. It's been a long time since we actually went on a date together. It's been months, actually.
Yeah, we've only been on one date together.
Actually, we've been on 2.
Oh, we have been on 2.
Yes, we have.
We've been on 2 dates together.
Technically more than 2. I mean, there were 2 different individuals, right? One we actually did date and we're in a relationship with.
Oh, right. Right.
We won't relive those days. But then there was another date, and it was just like a one-off date that we went on that just didn't click for everyone. So
we should start trying to date together again.
Yeah. No, I'm just no. I'm just
all right.
No, I'm surprised to hear you say it. So
surprise. That was not the sound of surprise.
That was like oh, you want to date? Okay, well, cool. You know, I mean, we doing this, we live. You know, this is what it is. Real talk, real love.
What is that?
I don't know. Oh, thank you. See, that's love. Thank you. Yeah. Just trying to show the love back, you know.
But yeah, I think that would be cool to like see if we can try to date together again. I think that could be fun.
Yeah. I think
like a team building exercise.
Yeah. I definitely think we've done some growing over the period of time, and just learning about how we're going to react in certain situations. Definitely had some learning experiences, and just learning about you and how you're going to react in certain situations. You get to you've seen me how I am around another woman, you know, and how smooth and suave I can be. No, I'm just kidding. But no, you really have seen me with other people, and man, almost every way you can think of. So I definitely think like now that you have a better picture of how is it going to be in a situation, 2 B's. How's it going to be with Jaquay in a situation where, you know, this is who he is and this is how he's going to react, and
not just this is who he is. This is who he is with someone else. There's a big distinction between that, because I know who you are with me, but who you are with someone else is a whole nother situation.
Well, okay, let's get into that. What do you mean it's a whole nother situation?
It's just different.
What's different?
You're different.
How am I different?
Just
that wasn't a sound of.
No, it's just like you said. Different people bring different aspects of your nature out, and so I just feel like, I mean, I've been with you for a while, and when I've seen you with other women, you're different.
Is it a good different, bad different?
It's just different.
Oh, is it it makes me uneasy difference?
Slightly.
Okay. Is that because maybe you feel like I don't know how to respond or how to come into that and be a part of that, or
maybe, or yeah, I mean,
you can be honest.
Nah, this is not the episode for that, but I'm just saying, I think I'm definitely ready to see what dating together could be like. I feel like in the past, I've kind of come into something that you already started to a certain extent. And I think it would be cool to actually try to start something together. You know? I think that would be a cool way to try it. We haven't really done that before.
Yeah, from the very, 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 very beginning, I would say no.
We haven't.
And that's I mean, that's a difficult, I think, proposition to sometimes come at people with, you know, because you're like, you know, if I bring you to the table, it's like, I'm not, like, what is this? Am I just trying to get a threesome out the deal, or am I just, trying to get the women? I'm just saying, like, that's how, you know, a lot of people think about it, you know. But again, that's comes with those or the dream versus the reality, you know, and just approaching people. And I think also one thing we haven't done is like had a profile that was a couple's profile. You know, we've always had individual profiles, and I would meet someone and then I would say, hey, you know, this is the situation and so forth.
And yeah, I feel like the few times we've done that together, it's always felt like I'm kind of stepping into something that's already there. And so there's a bit of a catch up, or I don't know, like I might not like that person like that, or they might, like it's just, I don't know. I would definitely like to try going in together.
I wonder what other people like think about dating together as a couple and the whole aspect of meeting someone. Because I don't think it ever will be like this perfect where we're both together and we meet somebody and it's just this whole three-way chemistry with this woman that, digs you, digs me, and we dig her. And I don't know. There's one couple that's on YouTube, and I shouted them out. Can't think of your guys' YouTube. One of you is an actress, and you guys do a lot of skits on YouTube with like folks like what's the name, Big Jaw and so forth. So I can't think of them. Trifecta. I think it's Trifecta, if I'm not mistaken. But they met at a party. They're a couple, and they met a young lady at a I think it was like, I don't know, a wedding or something like that they went to, and they all hit it off. So I'm not saying it's impossible at all, but then we just have to kind of put ourselves.
I mean, couples pages are a little creepy, but they're like low key creepy. But
I don't know, they just seem a little needy, like, and nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, sometimes, like, on Instagram, you'll see, like, oh, we're got applications out, but maybe that's, like, the way you do it. You put yourself out there.
I just would like to try it. Even if it's one of us meet, someone, like, introduce first, but we approach it from the aspect of, hey, we're a couple looking to date together. You know what I mean? Instead of, oh, let me get to know you, girl. Oh, let me, bring such and such in on this. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of really.
I'm listening.
I feel like that's kind of how it's been, where it's like, it's mostly you. You'll do the legwork, so to speak. And then,
hey, look, you want to do some legwork, put some elbow into it? I'm good with that.
I mean, I don't mind.
I mean, I think it's easier that way anyway, personally. Because women, y'all just have this way of trusting one another.
I feel like it's different because I feel like the woman needs to feel, I mean, she needs to feel attracted to both of us, but I feel like it's easier. I feel like but I feel like it's easier maybe for women to get along with women because we have more in common. Versus a man, it's just.
So you think it'd be difficult for you to meet a young lady that likes you, but then will turn around and like me?
More so, maybe. Not because of who you are, but just, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. Maybe it's equal because women and women don't necessarily always get along easily either. So I think it's uphill in a snowstorm with one shoe. Kind of either way it goes.
Okay.
But I would like to try.
Hey, I am game for it.
So. Are you really? I got you on camera.
I am. I'm game for it. I mean, like, right now I am dating someone. Okay. So I wonder, like, what I know you. And again, this goes back to the dream versus reality, right? So like you have a dream of like us meeting somebody together and a couple. Like how do you see that then? Like maybe is that too late? Like in the sense of like you want to just meet completely from scratch?
Well, for one, the person you're dating, y'all are already dating. Mm-hmm. But you're polyamorous, so I don't understand why that matters that you're dating someone.
I'm just bringing it up, saying, hey.
And from what I know, that person doesn't like women.
That's true. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, not like. Well, so I won't say that. I can't date her. Well, I won't say that. It's not that she doesn't like women. That's not it.
She's not interested in dating women. She's not interested in dating.
I don't know. I'm just simply saying that, like, what if that does happen again, where I am dating someone, or you, for instance, you could be dating someone, like you've met some nice young ladies online, and would that be?
I don't think you would have an issue with being brought in.
I would not.
Exactly. But I've been brought in more than once, and I would like to know how it feels to be there from the ground level.
Or maybe you would like to know how it feels to start it up with someone, and then I'll be brought in.
That too. But I've done it where I'm the one that's brought in twice already. Okay. And both times it's felt slightly awkward. And then with this person you're dating, she doesn't date women, so that wouldn't really work. So, I mean, if our goal is really to have a triad, then I think that we should work towards that goal to some extent. No?
I mean, it's always a possibility, for us to... You're on camera.
I'm trying to get this possibility. I understand.
I think, again, it's that whole dream versus...
I don't want to be a triad with someone who doesn't date women.
No, I don't. I mean, you can't. Triad is where everyone's involved, right?
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying that in order to be in a situation like a triad, as we were before, like that has to come together. You know what I mean? That's like something you have to manifest. That's something you have to like kind of create in your mind and then watch it become a part of your life. I'm just saying. I think it's a possibility for us to do that. I think it's a possibility for us to be in the future. But is it reality right now? Like, no, right? So I'm saying, yeah, I think it's a possibility. I definitely don't think negatively of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that I think has been at least a goal somewhat. We wanted the quad, and in the very beginning when we first started, talking about being polyamorous and how that would look like, and even the quad goal hasn't shaped out. I mean, we actually came pretty close, right? To that being a reality. But things just quite didn't click the way it needed to.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm not closed off to anything, but I think starting together is the best way. Being that I've tried the other way already. I think that starting together so that we start at the same place is just a nice way to start a relationship. I don't know. So, something to think about.
Definitely. I think as long as everyone involved, just it's so important to keep an open mind. I think a lot of times what happens is that you get into a situation or a relationship or you're dating, and you start to kind of imagine the future. Again, those dreams versus reality, and you want to stick to this perfect dream. Well, maybe a dream comes in from this angle or that angle, or there's different circumstances involved, where maybe a person already has children or they don't, or there's different things like that. So as long as I think we keep an open mind about who it is we date, and to some degree how we get into it. I know there's the desire there, but I think that's part of what you manifest and what you desire, and as that comes about, live out that reality.
Yeah, I mean, the key part to manifestation is living and moving towards what you want.
Absolutely.
Like, you have to actively walk towards that. You know what
True.
I mean? So.
Very true. So, we talked about the dream, but what has reality, and just, I mean, it's been over a year now, well over a year now. So what has been kind of the reality that has maybe popped your bubble of a dream, or helped you to see the possibilities of your dream coming true in terms of polyamory?
I mean, for the most part, my experience has been pretty positive. My reality, You know, the things I expected to be difficult, like you being sexual with other people or you loving other women, like that's been about as horrible as I thought it would be. Just keeping it real, full disclosure. You know, I mean, you get through it. It's
Okay,
fine.
now we do full disclosure. Okay, cool.
But really, you gonna grab your phone for full disclosure?
No, I was gonna check the time. It's late here, so.
But yeah, like the reality. Again, like I just really expected it to be a little more fun, I guess, and more social. I really thought that being that we were trying to do a triad or a quad, we would like be dating together, like that. Like even with our couples, like going together out together more, or really like you and I like finding someone to like. I really kind of I think that is what I had in mind. I know you said that a couple times just in regards to at least knowing more about my partners and like feeling included that way. But I think I just had like this kind of social, like we'd all be hanging out,
well,
kind of thing in mind.
That kind of did happen, and it kind of didn't. And what I mean by that is when we were in a triad, we were all dating together, the three of us,
the throuple,
the two. Our partner was long distance. Mm-hmm. So I think that took away from some of that sociability. That I think was what you were looking for. And then I think when it actually came about where we could all be together and spend time with one another, there was so much emotion that needed to be caught up into the reality of like, oh, now we're all together. Now we're seeing each other interact. It was a lot to deal with at one time. And so some of that fun factor actually did happen. Had a great time. And then some of that other side of it in terms of the emotions and just kind of feeling like a little dogpiled, like stacked on top of each other. I think that also brought about
heaviness
to the situation that probably wouldn't have been there if we had a lot more smaller dates.
Dates. And I also think, again, just starting from different places I think that plays a role. I really do. Not to say that if you both start from the same place, everyone's gonna have equal feelings if you can measure or quantify feelings, which I guess you can. That's not to say that, but at least you have the same amount of time. I don't know. I just feel like there's something to that versus someone coming in months later or once like feelings of love have already been established between two of you, and then someone is joining, then I'm joining, and there's already like a scenario. You know what I mean? Like it just, for the person like you and the other person, like they feel like someone's coming in.
Okay.
Then I feel like I'm coming into something that's already there. Like really, you're kind of the one that's sitting a little pretty, but I feel like, for the women, I don't know. I can just see how starting together alleviates some of that, a lot of that, majority of that.
I almost feel like this is kind of like the reverse situation, the reverse worry of a person coming into the relationship, that you two have already started something together and now I have to catch up to where you are, when now you're saying we're together, but because I've started something with somebody else, maybe just a couple weeks of just getting to know them and talking on the phone, and now you're saying you're worried about that already being started. I think
that's a really good point.
The other person coming in is going to have way more of that worry when we have 11 plus years together.
That's a really good
They're
point.
going to be like, whoa, like I'm coming in something new. So I think it's kind of interesting that you are feeling like, after me just meeting someone for 1, 2, 3 weeks, maybe even a month, and you're saying, I gotta catch up to that.
That's a good point. I mean, valid. Nevertheless, I still feel like it's easier that we all do it at the same time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I get what you're saying, but then that's just a double. That's a double whammy. Then you got that we already have something, and then there's something else that you've established with someone. So that's just adding more on top of what's already there. Then to me, versus just having the one main issue of we have 11 years together, 11 plus years together. Then you're adding on top of that. You know, like it's adding more. It's adding an additional variable that you don't necessarily have to, or you can try to avoid. I think it's better to try to start things as smoothly as possible, you know? And if we've tried it this other way more than once, I don't see the harm in trying it a different way and seeing if that just eases things. I mean, even with us being for 11 years, it might ease things that we go in together. That might be easier versus, again, you and her feeling that monogamous type bond, and then here I come. You know what I mean? Or her feeling like it's a one-on-one dating situation.
But they would know that it's not a one-on-one dating situation.
But it still feels but it can still feel like that.
Because the reason why I would say they would know it's not a one-to-one relationship, because they know I'm polyamorous, right? So everyone I date, I'm upfront about.
Right, but if I'm not involved, it's not going to feel like that. You could say that all day, but until I'm on the phone or we're all out for pancakes or, you know what I mean? Like, it's still different.
I think that I think whether or not we meet people like from the onset or a couple weeks in, if chemistry is there between the three of us, chemistry is going to be there between the three of us, right? I think a lot of this has to deal with people's personality, how well they gel together. I think those type of dynamics help to really do the work of easing that into a transition of a relationship versus it just being all about timing, right?
I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. Of course, chemistry is everything. Energy is everything. You can, that's what makes and sustains a relationship. So I can't combat that, but I will say that how you start something definitely matters. You can have perfect chemistry with someone, but if y'all don't start that thing on a good foot, things could go bad.
Now, why would you not start, or why would it not start it on a good foot? Like, what would be the thing that would...
You talking about like a monogamous, or you talking about what we talking about with a throuple?
Oh, no, we're on the topic of a polyamorous
How would situation. It not start on a good foot?
Right, how would maybe you meeting someone first, or I meeting someone first, and then, working into... us all getting to know one another, date one another.
Again, like the one thing I said, like,
good.
Especially if this person is not polyamorous, which I think a large amount of the people we've both been dating have not been. I don't think neither one of us has dated anyone who's truly been poly.
I've dated one person that should have been poly.
Together?
Oh, no, not together. No, not together.
Okay.
No, not together.
Who did you date that was poly?
Begins with an E. We'll talk about it later. But yes.
So anyway, she didn't done nothing poly though.
But she
just says she's poly.
But that's what it takes to be poly.
Okay, well then I'm a millionaire.
Oh, maybe one day you'll be
Stop playing. So anyway, I'm just saying, you say you poly, but you haven't done nothing to be poly. Well, it's different.
We dated, so... Oh, we went on
Y'all went on a date.
We went on a date, so,
okay, anywho.
Somebody you gotta have an entry point. That was just that. I
guess so back to the topic, to get off on a bad foot. I think, like I was saying, if one of us starts dating someone and chances are they're not going to be poly, and then they are getting into this one-on-one situation with us, and then not surprise, but then you try to bring someone else in.
Okay.
I don't think that's starting off on the best foot. Because I've done it. I've done it twice.
Actually, technically, just like you said about the person I dated once.
No.
We only went on one date with that second person.
Yeah.
That was one date.
And that did not, but y'all was doing fine until I came on that date. I didn't do nothing to the girl.
I didn't say you did. I'm not saying you
so
did.
Don't make that face.
But you the one that said it. You the one that said it.
I'm just saying, exactly. But if we would have started, that's my point, is that when you start out together.
I don't think that was it, though. I think with that person, I think the chemistry of all three of us, I think even if we would have all met at the same time, it wouldn't have worked, right? And it was just different. Like, and I had been on one date with her prior to, right? And that date it went well. It was good. It was cool, but she was a little different on the second date. And I understand what you're saying. Why you saying like, oh, because I was there.
Exactly.
But she knew from pretty much the very beginning that I was polyamorous, and that was the interest and so forth. But I think that's also about whether or not like she was truly interested in a polyamorous dynamic. I don't think that necessarily had to deal with, because there's the dream and then there's reality, right? And a lot of people, they like how it sounds, and they picture it a certain way in their head. And just like the person I went on that one date with, who said they were poly and they wanted to live that lifestyle, we got on the date, and the dream was one thing, but the reality coming out of that date was another, right? Mm-hmm. And so that didn't move forward. And that's okay, I just think that sometimes our expectations of how something is going to be I think it's pretty rare that it's going to be exactly how we expected it to be. Yeah, of right? Course. So that's what I guess that's what I'm getting at, is that there's going to be that expectation, and I think we have to be flexible within those set of circumstances that create that expectation, and hopefully turn a dream into reality.
And I think we have been. I think we've been incredibly flexible, honestly.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with that. I think we're very open-minded. I think we've been incredibly flexible. We've gone from quad to triad to dating separate. You know what I mean? Just trying to see what's out there. So I think we're flexible. Again, I was just expressing like.
Yeah, and I want to touch back on that one point that you made earlier about being social and not really hanging out all together. And I was gonna say about your partner that you're dating, who is a guy. He would come over all the time. We would just hang out, play board games, video games, watch TV. He and I have gone out before, just hung out. Just got to know one another. Talked a little bit about you, what he liked about you, what I liked about you, strictly platonic or whatever. But so I think we've done that. Now we haven't done it where
we're dating the same person.
Or either we're dating the same person, a woman, or you have a partner and I have a partner and we all go out together. That's something that has not happened. Mm-hmm. I just think that let me ask you this. When you are on social media or maybe even dating sites and you see a couple, right? Do you ever think to yourself, ooh, I'd like to date that couple?
Yeah, I've thought about that. I've talked to couples. I've gone into.
But has it been creepy?
It's slightly uncomfortable. Like there's one specific couple that I met on a dating site, and the guy was the one that was like, I guess, talking to people or talking to women, I guess I should say. And like him and I were getting along or whatever. We were still on the site. Yeah. But I mentioned, his wife or girlfriend or whatever multiple times. Like I wanted to
meet both.
Yeah, I wanted to like talk to her, and they were just kind of like, oh no, like he does the talking, and then when we meet. I know. Then when we meet, she'll be there, and that honestly is probably one of the main reasons why.
Like red flag.
Yeah, that's why I didn't move forward with like meeting them. Not because he wasn't nice.
Because he'd be by himself in a minivan.
That wasn't even my thought. I just felt weird. I just felt like no, like I want to get to know both of y'all. Like I want to text both of y'all. I want to message both of y'all. I don't just want to message him.
Maybe she just wanted to just have the fun part, not
then
like
they should have just said that. Then I mean, whatever it was, it just felt. I didn't like how it felt. I didn't like feeling that one-sidedness of like, oh, I can only talk to him because I know how women are. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if the bond between the women is not right, it's not gonna happen. Straight like that, it's not gonna happen. And so I was very intentional in trying to bond with her, and like get to know her, and like so that her and I could bond, and then everything could be cool. But it was like they were doing it backwards to me. To me, that's kind of backwards for the man and the woman to gel first.
Or maybe she was just like really flexible about the whole situation. It was like, no, go ahead and meet somebody that you really like, and I can get along with anybody. Maybe that was the situation, and like she was trying to allow him to build something with somebody he really liked, and then come into it.
Yeah, but when you got that third person like me who wanted access and wanted to feel comfortable with both of them before meeting, like, you know what I mean? I wasn't comfortable, so therefore they never met me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, I've tried to date at least that one couple, but couples online are a little weird. I think they're used to just not having people being interested or something. Yeah. And so they just kind of are not really on, like they're online, but not.
It was interesting because there's this, interestingly enough, on one of my dating profiles on one of the sites, a guy approached me about, hey, I see you're polyamorous. I'm trying to be poly. My girl and I, we're looking for a polyamorous situation, and it'd be cool to date another couple. And I see that you and your wife, are polyamorous, And I think I even showed you this picture, and I even like forwarded your profile to him. And I don't know if he ever contacted you or not or whatever, but so that it almost was weird. That could have been
that guy that was moving to Arizona or whatever.
Yeah. And that could have been a weird situation, but his approach, and that's another thing too. I think the way that you approach, a couple makes a big difference, because this was a guy approaching me. Now he was heterosexual, I was heterosexual. Like we both knew that, in the situation. But he approached it like, hey, I'm trying to build. I see you trying to build. We're interested in other poly couples, so forth and whatnot. So, again, it could have been creepy, but because the way he approached it, it wasn't. And it also kind of did from like almost like a, hey, let's kind of trade experiences and like how did you and your partner become poly and get into it and so forth. And it wasn't like, man, I just want to have a swinging type of situation where we just swap, So, I don't know. I think it's about the approach, what you are comfortable with, and it sounds like, for your sake, like you want to, the optimal, I'll say that because I think you're open, but the optimal situation that you want to get into is where you meet another couple.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then no one's threatened by the other person's relationship necessarily.
So then, what happens if, let's say, we meet a young lady that's works for both of us? We we work for her. Like we all like have a chemistry and so forth. And then let's say she wants to bring in another person. Like, then does it have to be the same thing again where we all have to meet that one person and then we all like have to, right?
No, like, but if we're talking about living together, we all got to get along. I mean, to some extent it matters if we're all talking about living together.
Okay. I'm just curious.
You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that we all got to date that one person at the same time, but we all got to get along. If we were going to live together, we all have to get along to some extent. To a large extent, we're talking about bringing children to the mix. Do they have kids? And we have kids. Like,
yeah, that's a lot of logistics stuff.
Right, exactly. Right. So
I guess I was just wondering, like, would it have to be the same dynamic as you desire for that fourth?
And then it depends. Like, is that someone that I would be involved with, or would that just be for her? Like, all those variables.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it could. I mean, like there's different polycules, right? And like in their setup, right? And how they
Exactly.
work.
That's
but
what I'm saying. So
but
that matters.
in a perfect situation, I guess in a quad situation, I think I mean, this person would be just dating her, like, and I don't think you would.
And also, like, I just think I don't know if easier is the word, but I think once you have a throuple or a triad, it's probably a little easier to add another person versus starting from the beginning, if that makes sense. So I think if we had a triad or throuple and we were all comfortable doing our thing and we want to add another, that would be easier in a sense than our initial journey to becoming a throuple.
Now, do you think
in my mind, and that's the dream?
Because the thing that comes to mind here is I can imagine people watching this and being like, "That is so complex."
I guess.
Or like, man, that could get messy really fast. Like, how would you? Let's say we did meet a third person and we started talking. Like, let's say that initial chemistry was there, it was great, but then they're like, they had a concern. Like, I don't know. Like, this sounds like a lot. Like, how would you? I don't know. Kind of explain it to them very shortly or succinctly to say,
it comes down to any relationship.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons. You know what I mean? So yeah, the cons are this type of relationship is a little more complicated than a one-on-one monogamous relationship. There's more moving parts, but then there's also benefits to being in this type of relationship, and so like anything, you choose if the complications are worth it, and if it's not, then more power to you. And if it is, then let's dig in and build. I mean, frankly, that's how I look at it. But yeah, it's definitely more complicated. It's more complicated being poly with just the two of us versus being monogamous. We didn't have to think about other people. We didn't have to think about how we felt and jealousy and this and that and the kids and But would I ever want to be monogamous again? No.
So okay, so now we've talked about reality. We talked our expectations or dreams. And then the actual reality. Is there anything else in terms of, and we really, wow, it's been almost 40 minutes and we really haven't touched on more than.
We'll edit this down though.
No, we won't.
This is coming down.
This is coming out just as it is.
2-minute video, 40-minute to a 2-minute video.
No, this will be as it is. It's nice to just get it all out and be real and just let the people see. How the inner workings. No,
that's what this is. It's so funny.
But let me see. Did I talk about? I know you talked about your expectations. I talked about.
We'll break it up into 2 parts. Part 1 and part 2.
Why are you editing the video in the middle of the video? You're so funny. Yeah, I guess I just think that. I like to be the optimist in this situation, right? Be optimistic.
That's what you call yourself being?
Not right now. I think I'm being a little bit on the pessimistic side.
Sir.
In terms of like finding that perfect person, right? Where we meet that perfect person
at the same time.
Yes. And then like we didn't even touch on like how emotions run at different paces.
I mentioned that. That. I said because just because we start at the same time doesn't mean that emotionally everyone's going to move. I did say that. Okay.
Yeah, because like, I don't know. I'm open.
But you have a better chance. You have a better chance if you start at the same time. You just have a better chance. I just think together
you can only put it out there that way. But if it doesn't start, maybe we'll get some people in the comments like, "Hey, here's my number." I don't know. Right. But
I'm just saying we should try. I just feel like we should try. We should try again. I feel like the first week we were poly, we tried, and then after that we was like, "Pew, you do you, boo."
No, that is not how it went at all. That's not how it went at all. I just think that we got on dating sites. We had single profiles. Now we did mention each other in our profile. We did say who we were. We did say we were both polyamorous. We did put out the dream or the goal, the quad goal. Like that was a part of our profile for a long, long time.
That's true.
I just think that it's one thing to try and find a third person to come into a situation or relationship, it's a whole nother thing for it to be a quiet, unless you do meet that couple and then you meet them at the same time and so forth.
Yeah,
like,
let's try to meet a couple then.
But
let's try to do a couple. Let's try to like meet a young lady together. Like, I feel like we should really put that out into the universe and try that. I think that would be good for us.
Okay.
Because I'm not dating at the moment. Not that if I was, that would stop me, because I'm polyamorous, so I can date 50 people at the same time if I like, So, yeah, like, I would like to see what's up.
Okay, we'll see what's up. We'll see what's up.
Maybe we can make your profile a couple's profile.
I don't even have a profile anymore.
Really?
Well, I do have a profile.
See?
But it's not active. It's not. Well, on one side it's active. On another side it's not active. Yeah, I crush a lot.
Stop.
Not really. But
okay, well,
I just think yeah. We would just have to, because you just seem to, when you get off a site, you blow up the whole profile, set up a bomb, and leave no traces of you being there. Your profile, you just blow it away. So.
I deactivate.
You do more than deactivate, because you deactivate and then you erase everything.
No, I just deactivate.
Oh, okay. So if you reactivated one of your profiles, did everything be there?
Yeah, so, I didn't do like the thing where you take.
I think we should use one of your profiles to do it.
Why?
Because I'm telling you, it's so much easier
for a woman.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Fine.
We use
I just think
my shit be popping. So
in the comment section below, comment if you think it's easier for a third person to approach a woman in a couple to engage in a throuple or a triad type situation, or you think it's easier for it to be the male that gets approached or to do the approaching to form a triad situation. I think it's definitely going to be easier for her to meet.
Probably right.
Yeah.
I would disagree.
Because I just think a woman is just going to automatically, to some degree, not all women, but some women are going to just get a better sense of genuineness, right? Because typically women aren't out there trying to be players and like, oh, let me just get this out of you. Like, that's typically not the approach of most women. So, but I think guys have a reputation, especially when we're talking about something like a threesome or throuple or triad or anything related to like a dude being with like more than one woman. Women are like, you're just trying to be a player, or you what do you mean you're married? But what's the situation like? Oh, now you want to meet her? Like, that's weird. Like, if they're monogamous or whatever, I just think a woman's touch in these situations is probably going to be a bit more effective in that move forward.
I would agree. So. Let's do it. We'll have an update.
Yes, we'll have an update. Give an update in a few
If weeks. You're interested, slide into them DMs. Slide into that comment section.
This is exactly what I was talking about when I was like, it'd be easier for you to do the profile. So just speaking to the camera, I'm sure next week we'll
slide
have
into them DMs.
This is not getting edited at all. Like, this is going straight up.
Whatever.
So we said we're going to do like a 15-20 minute video.
So we got about 6 videos.
No, this is not 6 videos. This is going to be one video. And it's just going to get posted.
No one is going to watch 47 minutes of us talking.
Yeah. We cool like that.
Jaquan, when was the last time you watched a 47-minute YouTube video?
Today.
That wasn't a documentary.
It wasn't a documentary. Breaking Brown. Shout out to the fam.
That don't count.
Yeah, it does.
They have callers.
No, the first segment of the show is an hour.
Anyway, y'all, we done. I'm out. It's been fun. I hope this was interesting. Tell us your dreams versus the sad reality of your life. We love to hear it. But not for real. Like, share.
This is just real. This is polyamory. We're a regular couple. Just living our life and trying to find love together. You know, I just think that there is the dream, and I think a lot of people see shows and so forth, and they're like, "Oh, it's like this," but it's
or they see them Instagram posts with just ass and all that, and
you know, but especially the one where there's like you, me, and our girlfriend. It's like that's so not the reality of most people. Now, if you found that already, that's fantastic. We've been in that situation before, but getting into that situation is difficult. Sustaining that relationship is difficult, and sometimes transitioning out of that relationship is difficult. So, but it works when it works.
It does.
So, yeah. All right, I won't keep going.
You sure?
Keep talking. Thank you for watching, listening. If you're on the podcast or if you're on YouTube watching, maybe we'll put a few clips of this on IG or something. Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks. This is Poly Table Talk. I'm Jay. This is.
You know my name. Say my name.
Say my name. Say my name.
This is Kay. Peace out, y'all.